I would be mortified.
Oh my God, I would be mortified. I'm already kind of mortified. Okay, welcome to Blackout Pod, Binges, Benders, Tales from Rock Bottom. Today, I am joined by a guest, one of my favorite comics in the city. She's been on, it's called Lights Out with David Spade. She's a regular at the store. She did my show. Fantastic comic, Miss Lara Beitz. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Of course, I'm just happy you're here.
Words.
Yeah,
I
of course.
That. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So you wrote a poem for a gentleman.
Oh, we're going to lead with that? Okay.
I don't know. That's where we...
Okay. I thought we'd riff. I thought we'd riff about the neighborhood a little bit.
We could. Let's actually do that. Okay.
I was going to tell you about how when I first moved here, I saw a guy do heroin on the street on his bike out there.
Just on Wilshire?
Something like that.
Holy
around
fuck.
Here. Yeah.
Like, and then just keep riding?
Yeah, he stopped. It's not funny. It's a crisis.
No,
it's
that's
bad.
talent.
He stopped and tied like a little black, like it looked like a piece of a t-shirt around his arm, and then stuck the thing on his arm. And in my head I was like, why is he putting a pen on his arm? And then I was like, oh, that guy's doing heroin right now. And then he got back on his bike. It was like,
and then kept going.
It was the littlest bike you ever saw in your whole life.
It's always a little
and
bike.
And then he like rode into traffic and like fist bumped a dude, and then like kept riding. He like rode his little bike off.
There are two things that are surefire way somebody's going through some shit. As a man, he's riding a bike that's too small for him, and he dyed his hair blonde. Those are the two surefire, like, he's going through some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't blonde. He had dark hair. I was actually checking him out.
Oh, shit.
And, needless to say, I saw all I needed to see.
Right.
Yeah.
What did you feel after that?
Needless to say, I saw all I needed to see. Yeah, not for me.
How far into living in California were you?
Like minutes. I mean,
that's
I was
amazing.
probably I think I was in my first week, because I know I met up with someone who was a friend of mine in college in Milwaukee like years ago.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the first things I did when I got here was meet up with him and
I thought you were
find
going to
out
say it was
that
do heroin.
we're never going to talk again. Oh, yeah, no. It's weird when you meet up with someone from your past and they're like, I'm like, you have not changed at all. How have you not changed at all?
What are they doing now?
Dressing eccentrically and being annoying.
Oh, God. Why is there so much of that here?
It was so annoying. And it was one of those people who like would not stop talking to me. I finally had to block him,
Oh,
he just wouldn't stop talking to me.
Why do people do that? Like the dressing and the being, like, that's why I had to move away from Echo Park. Was because it was just like, I love this area, but the people here, I fucking hate them.
I think I get it, actually, because I think that some people need attention and don't have a way like stand up to get it.
That's
they're
fair.
not like good at music. They're not good at, and so that's how they are. They show people that they're different.
Doesn't that make you, maybe I'm a bad person. I feel like that makes me more mad because they're just untalented and loud.
Yeah. But there's also like, there's a way to do it where it's cool. Like you can dress like in bright colors and stuff and stick out and still look cool. You don't have to just dress like a total fucking jackass.
Yeah. There's so much of that.
Like, you look so stupid.
I saw Marc Jacobs in a bright pink suit.
Yeah.
Oh, he looked so cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he looked
I'm so glad
cool.
that you're on the side of that, because I was about to...
No, he was in a rap video. Like, he just walked by and did an accidental cameo, and then was like, yeah, you guys can use this. And, like, the rapper was like, oh, shit, that's Marc Jacobs. And it was the coolest shit I've ever seen.
That's so great.
Yeah, I would wear a pink suit if I had anything to wear a pink suit for, but I feel like I would look like a sleazy, like, used car owner.
No, you could totally pull off a
pink suit? You don't think I would look like I absolutely did heroin?
No, you'd look fucking awesome in a pink suit.
Well, I might think about that. Maybe if I ever get the chance to film a special,
yeah,
it's got to be a pink suit.
I mean, that's kind of like a high stakes situation to debut a look like that.
I feel like I was
thinking like to a party.
I feel like I could step up like one eccentric outfit up to that. I'm already long shirts. So I could go long shirts.
I like the long shirts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so nice.
Yeah, I'm on team long shirts.
Because fucking people, Whitney said something and then somebody else posted a thing that was like, guys in long shirts look like single mothers. And I was like, listen, I'm fucking comfortable at least. Single mothers are comfy.
I mean, not everyone can pull it off, but you can pull it off. The
Thank you.
scoop neck tees is where I draw the line. That's a trend I can't get on board with. I haven't seen a single person wear one where I didn't think they would look better if they weren't wearing it.
Oh, man. Yeah, so it's like, that's like the deeper V-neck.
You know what it is.
I do, yeah. Right as you said it, I had an image, but I wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that I knew what it was. It looks so like, it's very like, I'm rich, but I want to be poor. That's the look I get from it.
Yeah. I think that they just want to show their chests off.
Yeah.
But it's like, I can kind of picture what your chest is like. I don't need to see it. Even if you have like really cool tattoos or something. Like, don't show me your fucking breasts.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they are.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't have any desire to show off my tattoos ever. And like, even when I wear a t-shirt.
They're all over your body.
I know
I'm
that.
looking at 45 of them
I know
right
that.
now. How
but
could
it's
you
so
even say
like
that?
I never like if I'm in a tank top somehow I'm like, oh, I look terrible.
No
but then like
way, really?
yeah, seriously.
I think
just
that's
feel,
how like every healthy guy feels in a tank top. I like tank
Yeah.
tops on guys.
It's just like I feel like it's so like I already know that my look is very aggressive, and so like when I wear a tank top in a public place, I'm just like, oh my God, that's not the gym. That
Yeah.
I'm just like I look like a fucking tool.
I like tank tops on guys, but I think that's a trauma response. That I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, I
that's-
do like guys in white beaters. I do.
That's so funny. So what else about this area? Fuck. Yeah, I can't
That's
imagine.
all I have. I just want to tell that one story.
I think everybody because where do you live?
I live in Glendale.
Yeah, see, I live in Highland Park. I would live in Glendale in a second, too.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it feels so much like it's in everything, but it's out at the same time. Jessa Reed, I think, lives up there, too. And she was like, I hate it up there, but I like being away from things.
I would like to live in Hollywood, but I have like a good rent. I have a huge room, and I have a bathroom and like another little like area attached to it. It's all mine, and it's under $1,000. So it's like,
oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been looking on like PadMapper and stuff just to see what else is out there, and I'm like, I really have a good situation.
Yeah. It's just once, like, the convenience is not worth the headache to me. Because it just is like, I'm starting to get convinced. I have so many friends who live in Hollywood, and either they are dead broke
Yeah.
or they are out of their minds.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, why would you? I have friends who live in downtown, too. And I'm like, I think you are a maniac.
Yeah. I would never.
No way. No fucking way.
I would never. The driving around here, every time I'm around here, I see someone do something that I could never have imagined. I'll see someone like backing up down the street at like 25 miles an hour. I'm like, what in the fuck would possess you? Why do you think that's okay? How do you not care about your own car? You don't care about getting your own car in a car accident?
I feel like they think maybe because they have a backup camera, they're like, it's fine. Like, I'll be fine.
You just assume everyone else will get out of their way.
Yeah, I think that's the most LA shit ever is the fact that people do that shit and then they just park on the side of the road when they're an Uber, or like if they have to pick somebody up, they'll just stop in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And just put on their hazards. And
Yeah.
it's like,
What kills me is when
Oh.
there's like a huge driveway right there. Like, it doesn't matter how much
No,
space there
never.
is that they could pull over into.
yeah.
They just
never.
will be
They
in the
just
middle of the road.
Right down like a little skinny thing between Beverly and Melrose. It always happens. And you're just like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
I'm sorry you have to drop this Amazon package here.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
I
that's
have
fucking-
to honk an Uber driver into action almost every single time
Yeah,
I want
they
to pull
always-
into the lot at the Comedy Store.
Oh,
They
yeah.
always block it, and I honk. I'll do like a little one, and then like a bigger one, and then I'm like honking, and they're not. I'm like, look the fuck up! Like, look at me. I'm not just like an asshole.
They're
who's
always in
I'm
that
like
driveway.
pointing in the lot. Like, I need to go in there.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to be there. I insist on being there. Get out of the fucking way. The security guards actually there are awesome because they'll like go up to the car and be like, get out of the way.
Is that your favorite place to be? Is the store?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so fucking
I was
cool.
just thinking about that the other day about how that's my favorite place to be.
Yeah. How long have you been like kind of so you've been a regular for a year?
No. I've been a regular since like the summer.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like July or something.
And it happened relatively quickly, right?
Yeah, I was in development for like 7 months.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How long were you here before you kind of got noticed? Because I've heard you on podcasts where you kind of talk about how it was just like a quick little trajectory.
Yeah. I was here for like under 3 years when I got passed. I was here for like 2.5 years when I went up at the mic and Adam saw me for the first time. And then he just kept bringing me back.
That's
and
awesome.
Kept giving me spots and passed me. And
that's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's a very inspiring story.
Thank you.
Because it was you, and then like when I talked to Nicole Amy, it's the same kind of thing where it seems like it was just you were talented, somebody saw you and noticed talent rather than like it's a very rare thing, it seems like.
Well, and there is like the working hard for 9 years and feeling like nothing is happening. That's like a big part. That's a huge part of the story. That's a huge part of the story.
Yeah. Yeah. But
so it really is a case of, it's like, don't give up.
I think Chappelle is doing the same thing right now. Chappelle Lazy. Because everybody, like the funniest thing was when he started getting development spots there, people were like, oh, he just started comedy like
people are
a
so
year
fucking
ago.
stupid.
So fucking stupid.
Oh my God. I've heard rumors. The rumor I heard is that Adam is my cousin. The booker of the Comedy Store is my cousin. People have said that we're sleeping together. Like anything they can come up with to make me not deserve it.
Yeah.
That's such a sexist thing to say.
So fucking stupid.
That's
so fucking stupid.
Like I've been doing stand-up for like almost a decade. And people say that all the time too, that I just started. I guess like the rumor in like the open mic circuit is that I am like 2 years in.
Have they never seen you?
I mean, that's actually what I've heard is that people will not see me and will talk a lot of shit and then will see me and will stop talking shit.
It's very easy to see. Like, I guess it's easy to fall into the thing of talking shit about somebody if you've never seen them. But then once you see a stand-up who is, past a certain amount of time, if they're getting recognition, most of the time you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, someone just told me a story about a guy who like was standing in the back of the room when I went on super late at night in the main room like a week or two ago, or I was out of town, but a little bit ago, and recently, and he said that the guy was just like, man, I love it. They give these women these spots here, and I love to just watch them fail or flail or like watch them struggle. And then I did my set and he said that I was like a minute into my set and the guy was like, all right, she won me over.
Oh my God.
It's like, it's not my job to win you over, you little bitch. Go back up to the fucking open mic upstairs. Go fuck yourself.
That's so fucking obnoxious. Especially, I've had this conversation before, like most of my favorite comics in the city are women because like I think there's a lot more to prove in the pool of women that there are because so many, it's kind of like the hacky thing for women is to go up and talk about your pussy, and then the hacky thing for dudes is to go and talk about your dick. So like female comics who are on the path of wanting to be good comics have to work 10 times harder.
Yeah. Because
they have to get noticed in the sea of like girls, who will probably get booked because they go up and they're like, I suck in dick and whatever.
No, fuck that. Because I've talked about sucking dick and I've talked about my pussy on TV.
But you're
talking
funny.
About both those things on TV.
You know how to write a joke.
I avoided those things for the first 8.5 years of doing stand-up. I avoided talking about that stuff. And then finally one night I was like running like really clean material at an open mic and every bit of it bombed except for at the end I like said like balls look like a chicken nugget that got kicked under the fridge and it like brought the house down and that was the only line of the whole night. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to talk about balls and dicks and sex. And so I just like wrote everything.
There's a very specific kind of person.
I don't really know what you mean though. That's the thing is that I've heard that stereotype so many times, but really when I think about like women doing comedy, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a montage in my head right now of just terrible, terrible, terrible comedy that I've seen women do. And I know what you're talking about, but I don't know.
Maybe it's hard to place.
I mean, men suck too.
It's true. That's true.
Men suck too. So
Bottom line is my
understand.
favorite. So a lot of, like I would say, out of the 10 comics I could name off the top of my head, I would say 6 or 7 of them are women on like either the regular or open mic scale. Like they were the first ones who I was like, that's a great fucking comic. Gabby Lamb was like the first comic in the city who I was like, she's fucking so good. Like who I actually saw and was not jealous, but just like, fuck, she's good.
I've never seen her. It's funny because a lot of times they'll just put one of us on a lineup. So
Yeah.
I like don't know a lot of them. Like I know the women who work at the store, but like
Allie's so funny too.
Allie is funny.
Yeah. So did you get established just in Milwaukee before you left?
Milwaukee and then Chicago. So I did 3 years in Milwaukee and then came up there, and then 3 years in Chicago and came up there and then moved out here.
It's like a 2-hour train ride to.
Yeah,
okay.
But I mean, I moved there.
You moved there. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Did you just feel like you outgrew it, or was it just time to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think I won Milwaukee's Funniest Comic like a year into doing stand up. So that should give you an idea of like how much room for growth there is there.
I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what Utah is like. That's not to badmouth any Utah comics, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what? It surprised me to hear that you had a past of drinking and stuff like that.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Because that's not offensive, is
I
it?
want to say I'm dressed like this because I have other shows to go to tonight. I just want the viewer to know that I'm not wearing like a little collar.
It's also
with like diamonds on it to do this podcast this afternoon. Very grateful to be here, but
of course.
I'm not a fucking nerd.
I'm very sorry. And you're, oh dear, oh my goodness.
No, I'm going to a benefit tonight. So
are you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's the Judd Apatow birthday show is a benefit for Children's Hospital.
Oh, that's cool.
It's his birthday today, and today would have been my dad's birthday.
Oh wow, okay.
And my mom worked at Children's Hospital for 20 years. Isn't that crazy?
Cool. So you actually get to do a benefit that's like near and dear.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So who is it on the lineup?
Judd Apatow, David Spade, Bo Burnham, the Eels, and me. And that's the lineup.
Fuck yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Who's hosting?
Probably Judd Apatow.
That's so fucking cool.
He hosted last time.
So you don't have a day job or anything?
No, not anymore.
That's so fucking cool.
It is so fucking cool.
So you're living the dream.
Yeah, I am.
That's amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's so fucking cool. Sorry, that's the only thing in my vocabulary apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I quit my day job like a few months ago. It's like brand new.
That's great.
So I wake up so happy every day that I don't have to go to fucking work.
God, that's awesome. Jesus, I have a very easy job, and I got really lucky. But it's still like that's all the fuck I want to do is just get any. It's very inspiring to see people who are making their living off of comedy.
Thank you.
It's amazing. Yeah. So when did we could talk about what, I don't know if I'm going to cross the line if I talk about
I'll let you know.
and stuff. Okay,
I'm
cool.
good with boundaries and setting them. And but I can see not wanting to ask me about that publicly. Yeah, I'm fine talking about my recovery from alcoholism. Next month will be 6 years.
Oh, nice.
God willing.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no plans to drink in the next month.
Yeah.
So I feel good about the likelihood that I'll make it to 6 years.
Clap, Mike. God.
Yeah, what the fuck? What the fuck is your problem?
Jesus. It's fucking, I'm so sorry about
Who is this guy? Can we get this clown out of here? Please stay.
God. I can take over from here. Mike.
Get the fuck out. I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
You've upset Lara. God damn it.
I'm fucking pissed off.
Just take a sip. Let's regroup. When did you start drinking? Don't look at her.
Don't look at me. I was drinking almost daily by the time I was 17.
Oh, wow.
My dad went to jail when I was 13 and got sober in jail and stayed sober until he died when I was 24. And no, he went to jail when I was 13. Yeah, I was 13. And he left behind a full liquor cabinet. And like from my first drink, I just loved the way that it made me feel. And so I like drank, but then there were, consequences. I was always like the first person to like throw up and pass. I mean, I just like humiliated myself every time. But yeah. And then after I drank all of that alcohol, which he never noticed it missing. I thought one day he called and he was like, I went through and I was like cleaning the liquor cabinet out that I used to have. And I totally thought he was like, I was dumping them down the drain. And I totally thought he was going to be like, I noticed that they're all water, but he didn't.
Oh,
He never knew. Yeah. But then after that, I stole my sister's license out of her purse.
I did that too with my brother.
Yeah. Cause I looked enough like her. And then I just like, I always had alcohol. I could always buy people alcohol. I had friends. I had like a group of friends for the first time ever. I never felt like I belonged anywhere. And then once I started being able to like buy people alcohol, and like I always had a bag of weed because I had a job, but I didn't have rent to pay or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just was fucked up all the time, and it was an improvement over not being fucked up at that time.
Yeah. God, you could have I could have said those same words, but bag of weed, bag of cocaine.
Yeah.
It was the same thing. I never felt like I belonged.
Yeah.
And then the second I started partying, there was like my need to fit in. I was like, oh, this is great. We do the same shit.
Yeah.
And so I thought I was connecting with people.
Yeah. But it didn't work because I liked that it made it so that I could talk to guys because I was always way too, I would get just so weird around. I was just so uncomfortable. But then like I would like have the courage to talk to guys, but then I would be like passed out on the bathroom floor, like sweating while they had to like step over me to like pee. So it didn't really, Yeah.
Then you can't really. I mean, I guess you could have hit on them. You could have tried harder.
Well, I could and I did, but I didn't get what I wanted.
You come here often?
I did. I did.
Yeah.
I woke up a lot of places that were not good places to wake up.
Isn't that the worst?
Yeah.
That's what gives me the most panic about thinking back on those days.
So
is thinking
crazy.
about where you went. What's the craziest place you ever woke up?
I mean, gosh. I woke up in a car when it was one of the nights when there was like a -40 wind chill in Milwaukee.
Oh, shit.
I woke up in a car at 5 a.m, looked over, and my friend Gary was passed out in the driver's seat. And I woke him up, and he had driven me home blacked out. I mean, we both were blacked out. And he had driven me home, and he said that he couldn't wake me up to get me inside. And he fell asleep trying to wake me up.
Fuck.
It's like amazing that we didn't die. And then I like drank that night,
Yeah. People die. You can die extra quick of like hypothermia with that, right?
Yeah.
I know a kid from my high school who died of that.
Yeah.
I think he like fell. He was walking home and fell into a snow embankment and then just died in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it happens.
Especially at 40 degrees. God, that's so crazy.
I can't believe I've woken up in a Salvation Army. I've woken up in jail. Like I've woken up so many places where I was just like, oh, fuck. I've woken up when like I had a boyfriend and I woke up in another guy's bed, like, and no memory of it. Had to ask him what happened, like just fucking awful. And that's not who I am. Like I've never cheated on someone in, the years of sobriety that I've had. Like that's not the woman that I am today. It just like, man, it like really chips away at your self-esteem. Like
it really
all those
does.
things that you do when you're fucked up.
Yeah, it especially looking back on them. I think that's the strangest part is when you do make a 180, because I could never picture you in those situations. And I feel like if I didn't look the way that I looked, like with the tattoos, I feel like most people would be like, I can't picture you. But once they talk to me, it's the same thing. But just to like think about all those erratic things and how many times you could have died or like been fucked up or whatever. It's really scary. Yeah. Like it's a very out of control, terrifying feeling. I think that's where most of my panic attacks stem from, is stuff like that.
Well, and really, there was a lot of trauma. Like, I wasn't always okay. Like, it's messed up that, like, guys slept with me when I was
big time.
blacked out, you know? And I can't even, like, thank God I never had any, like, long-lasting consequences of that, you know? But other than like, psychological, I don't think you ever really recover from that.
Yeah. Well, what, like, if somebody has a history of drugs or drinking, what I try to do is like a teaching story, like where you were like, I think I need to change, and then something fun, you know, where you look back and you're kind of like, I was retarded, this was dumb as shit, and then just kind of wrap on like where you think you are now. I think that's like a good trajectory to follow, so it stays lighthearted, but also you get to say something important.
Yeah.
Because I think if I have somebody, usually I have all kinds of people in here who still do drugs or who have never done drugs, but if it's somebody who is like passionate about getting better, I think it's always nice because I do have people who listen who are in recovery, and I think they always take a little piece away. I'll get messages or whatever from people who are like, so-and-so was great because it helped me with, like, Chappelle helped a lot of people. I can't remember who else. Harper said something that really helped people. Harper Rose Drummond. Nicole Amy said some stuff that I got messages about. So I don't know, try to like keep it lighthearted, but also get poignant.
Well, I like, I have a lot of people who like ask me about it, and I'll always like tell people what I did, but I'll never argue with people about like what'll work for them.
Yeah.
But I will say that when I got sober, I was ready to quit comedy. Like, if that was what it took, because I didn't know if I would ever be able to like be in bars telling jokes. I didn't know if I would be too nervous to tell jokes. Like, I didn't know if I would be bad at comedy because I would be so nervous and so rigid and so shaky. But I was ready to give up anything if it meant I wouldn't have to drink anymore.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop drinking by myself. I got help. The help I got was free. It didn't cost me anything. I still have help. And like immediately stuff started blowing up for me. Within a year, I was on TV for the first time. I got passed as a working regular at every comedy club in Chicago.
Oh,
and
cool.
Before that, I was blacking out and passing out at open mics. And even someone recently, it got back to me that someone said, like, I cannot believe that that's the same girl who was like passing out at open mics.
That's so amazing to hear. I bet, like, just to be like, I've done this, you know, not yourself, but also it's just nice to know that you can empower yourself that much.
I mentioned that specifically because I just was talking to someone who's like, I know I need to quit drinking, but I just don't think I'll be funny anymore. And someone said something to me when I got sober. They said, whatever you do, you'll do it better sober. Because I felt that way too. And that was my fear too.
It's a strong narrative.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I would never be, I wouldn't be anywhere close. I would be in the Midwest blacking out at open mics.
Yeah.
If I hadn't gotten sober.
Yeah.
Like the ability to like save up money, move here, not fuck up opportunities. Like I show up in a way that like I'm proud of. I remember things I say. I remember how I behave. There's just no way that I would be here if I had kept getting fucked up every day. I was blacking out every day.
That's wild. Was your tolerance crazy or did you just go?
I don't know because I don't remember how much I drank. I mean, I know that my friend and I could go through a gallon of wine in a night.
Fuck.
I guess, yeah, that's a pretty crazy tolerance. I also remember like I wanted to get therapy because I thought that like that was like if I solved my psychological problems, then I would. I had so much panic. Have you heard me talk about this before?
No.
I hate telling the same story twice.
You don't
people
have to.
Heard it.
Yeah, we don't. Because I encourage anybody listening to go follow Lara and listen to the podcast she's been on. You're a great guest on podcasts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to get therapy, and I called to. Oh no, never mind. I was sharing this at a 12-step meeting recently. That's what you wouldn't have heard that. I wanted to get therapy, and when I called like to do the intake or whatever, they asked me how much I drank, and I knew I like needed to lie to them so that I could do therapy, and the lie that I came up with was 10 beers a day. That was my lie.
Oh my God.
And she was like, yeah, like you need to deal with your alcohol problem before we can help you. And I was like so pissed and insulted. But I had so much anxiety. I couldn't leave my house. I mean, there were times when like I would like a week would go by and I would be in my house when I lived in Milwaukee. And I had a binder clip that I attached to a spool of dental floss, and I would order food because I got money when my dad died. I got like some insurance money.
Yeah.
A small amount of insurance money, and I quit my job and just like drank. And I tied a binder clip to a spool of dental floss, and I would order food, and I would clip the money to the binder clip and throw it out of my second-story apartment window and have them clip the sandwich bag. Yeah. And I knew like what I could order that it would be like light enough that it would clip it to the bag and I would pull it up.
Wow.
I couldn't face people. I could not face
That's fucking
the world.
Intense.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
I invented it.
Yeah.
out of necessity.
You and people in jail.
Yeah.
That's so fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I thought I was like, oh, I have agoraphobia. Like, oh, I'm like mentally ill, you know? And I got sober and that went away.
What got you out of the house initially? Was it just one day you went, fuck it, I'm going to go?
I mean, it was stand up.
Yeah.
I could leave the house for stand up. I would have someone pick me up, but I could leave the house for stand up. And for other stuff, I would like have friends come over and like take my trash out. Like I was such a shitty friend.
Were you writing or were you just going up?
I was writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was writing, and I would stay up until like 5 a.m, just like talking to myself and then writing down what I thought was funny.
Oh, wow.
I was like really obsessed with it.
Yeah. I've heard your writing process is crazy. Like I've heard somebody, not like in a good way. I've heard you have like
not in a good way.
No, in a good. I said not in a bad way, and then
got it
in a good way.
Yeah.
I hear it's crazy. Like you keep like really diligent notes and really like
yeah. I mean, my notebook's right there.
I wish I could steal it.
I mean, I could show it to you is what I'm implying. So I I'll like write everything out word for word.
Yeah.
And then I always write a set list before I go up, but I'll write everything out word for word. And then, I don't have any good examples offhand, but I will, I'll record all my sets. I'll listen to them. And if something doesn't work, I'll put a box around it and then I'll put an X through it. So I can still like see it.
Yeah.
And then I'll rewrite the bit without that. And then I'll put that on stage. And then I'll do the same thing where I'll listen to it. And if it doesn't work, I'll put an X around it. And then I'll rewrite the bit. And so that's like my process for getting bits where like every punch works every time.
When did you, what was your first time on stage like?
I did the open mic at the Comedy Cafe in Milwaukee, which has since closed. And it was 5 to 7 minutes.
That's damn.
And I like spoke so fast. And people laughed at some of my stuff and they didn't laugh at some of my stuff, but it was enough to like, I was fucking hooked.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I got the rush. I got the rush of like people laughing when.
That was my first time too. Funny. Yeah. I don't remember anything I said.
Yeah.
But I remember people laughing.
Not great.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was great, but it was not great.
Do you have it written down still?
I mean, I have it memorized still.
That's fucking, I think mine was about like, I wish I had handsome young black man confidence. That was the crux of the joke, and people like, haha, you know what I mean? Like not great laughs.
Yeah.
But it's still, I was fucking,
I have mine written down on a computer that I don't have anymore. Cause I started out typing, but I like to write by hand now cause it slows me down.
I need to do that really bad. I write on my phone cause it's quicker to run with my train of thought cause I'm so ADD.
Yeah.
And then I'll write longhand that bit word for word, and then I don't really have a process after that. But after a while, I get to just doing it one word I can write down.
I'll do that initially. Like I wrote some stuff on my phone today because I was like getting ready and didn't have time to like get my notebook out and sit it. You know, it's slower. But then I'll write stuff in my phone, and then the same thing. Like I'll go back and look at it and write it out. Writing it in the phone is like unwrapping a present though, because then when I like have my notebook out and I have my timer set for 30 minutes and I'm like ready to do it, I'm like, oh man, I know what I'm going to write about.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. Yeah, it is. I've never looked at it that way, but it is nice. It kind of is like a cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like, at what point, like, what was your recovery process like? Like, because you said something, the food stuff, is that okay to talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said, I've never talked to anybody who's been in Overeaters Anonymous.
Yeah, I've been in...
I could have used that big time.
I've been in 6 12-step programs. And actually, I guess I can't say the names of them.
Sure.
It's against the traditions. But I've been in 6 12-step programs. And basically just like if something in my life is giving me trouble, I go and I get the solution, because I've found solutions in those programs.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I say that, it sounds like I'm like insane, but I actually am very sane, and it feels good because I am the person that my friends all go to if they need help like setting boundaries with someone, if they need help with like like I had someone call me last night and we talked today. She has like a toxic friendship and she needed help with it, and it feels good to be like, I'm like the go-to person of my friends for like stuff like that.
Yeah, it seems like it's just it's weird that that's the stigma attached to it, is that it's crazy, but it's just kind of like, why would I not want to figure out why I'm going through this mentally?
It's not crazy to do the fucking work on yourself.
Yeah, I think once people get into any therapeutic program, they realize that it's just like, oh, like it's just a person is just like any other machine that you need to continually keep up maintenance on.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to look at it.
Yeah, well, and other people have the problems, but just don't necessarily have the solutions. It's weird that the solution is the part that's stigmatized.
Yeah, it really is, especially because I know so many fucking people who are the ones who are saying like, that's crazy, and they're the ones who have the worst problems. Like the craziest people I know who are like 40 years old and doing cocaine every night, and they're like, it's just a party, and I'm like, fucking pay your taxes. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. I remember
I know a guy on his 5th DUI, and he is 35. And he's still just like, yeah, cops caught up with me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Dude, aren't those like 20 grand a piece? And you can kill people?
Yeah, I think mine was, at the end of the day, 12 grand.
I worked with kids with special needs. That's the day job that I just quit. And there was a girl in my class last year, and she was completely paralyzed, like couldn't communicate with eye gaze or anything, completely paralyzed head to toe. And she was a normal 1st grader, got hit by a drunk driver, and she was in 6th grade when I knew her. And that's,
oh my God,
that's it. That's a wrap on that. I take it so seriously.
Yeah, as you should. I remember because I came to when I was getting arrested, and then I was in jail, and I didn't know I was in jail. Mm-hmm. So I was like, did I hit somebody? And so like after that, I kept drinking. I never drove.
Yeah.
But I drank for about a year after that. And I just like, that's one of the things that freaks me out so much, is like, I could have done so much worse. I pulled over my car and the cops found me.
Yeah.
So it was, that's so fucking terrible.
I got rid of my car because I knew I was going to get someone killed, because I would black out and then find out I had been driving, and I couldn't control myself. I couldn't control my actions. I can't hide my keys from myself. I know where I put them. You know what I mean? And we're so manipulative as alcoholics and as drug addicts. We're so good at getting what we want from people that it's like, even if I gave my keys to you to hide, I could fucking get them back from you.
Yeah.
You know, I could.
When you said you woke up in jail once?
Yeah.
Do you know what happened?
Yeah, God, that's like a whole other thing.
We don't have to talk about it.
I mean, it was weed. but it's a whole,
okay.
it's a whole other, that story is like, nah, fuck it. Because this might be helpful to someone.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have bipolar disorder.
Mike, pay attention.
I had one really severe manic episode when I was 18, and that's how I was diagnosed. I've never had an episode since because I take my medication and I take self-care very seriously. I make sure to eat every day, eat enough food, and sleep enough. And I haven't had a manic episode since then. But during that time, I was like having visual and auditory hallucinations and also what are called like delusions of reference. So I would see like a blue car and I would be like, oh, the blue cars will lead me to like, I had it in my head that there was like a surprise party for me somewhere and I just had to find it. I went missing for weeks.
I just listened to a podcast about this.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a horror podcast. And this woman was finding out she had schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And so she would see people that she recognized, and then she realized she didn't recognize them.
Yeah. I climbed a water tower and was seeing my friends in the woods. And I thought that they were like leaving things for me on the water tower. But really it was just like my stuff was like falling out of my stuff.
God damn. So
I heard voices in the radio. I heard my friends' voices in the radio. And the police were looking for me, and I didn't know because I was missing. And I was sleeping on a playground. I was trying to sleep. I swear to God, I didn't sleep for like 2 weeks. I swear I didn't sleep for like 11 days. I don't know how long it was. But I would try to sleep, and then I couldn't. Like, you can't. And I was on a playground, like trying to like sleep on the slide or something. And a door opened and all these puppies came out. All these different kinds of puppies came out. And there was like a path. And on either side of the path, there were like these little lights. And I was like, oh, well, I'm supposed to go to the puppies. Obviously, like this is where my party is, you know? Because in my head, it's like this elaborate thing, like I'm looking over and people are watching me. And they're
so it
like,
was all a storyline.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
wow.
Yeah. And subject to change. But
sure.
Yeah, insanity. And so I like walked up and just started like playing with these puppies because I assumed these people were watching me, saw me look, and they were like, okay, let the puppies out. I thought it was all like crazy, right? So I started playing with these puppies. These people obviously were not watching me. And I just was a crazy person like petting their dogs. And I was like, yeah, like, can I sleep here? And they were like, oh, okay. These fucking people. So they...
So you were petting actual dogs?
Yeah.
Okay.
The dogs were real.
That's good.
Just shouldn't have been petting them.
Sure, okay.
They let me in. They gave me a set of pajamas. They gave me some ho-hos and like a glass of water. And I was starting to go to bed and the police came.
Oh, wow.
And and they searched me. I had weed in my purse, although I hadn't been smoking it. I just had it. And I know that that's weird. And I know that that sounds untrue, but that is
it doesn't.
The memory I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because weed is not, I mean, weed can make you see some shit.
Yeah.
But like, it's not going to lead you down a whole path like that.
Yeah.
It was nice of those people.
I guess. Just tell
But
me I
very
can't
strange.
stay there. Don't fucking invite me in and give me pajamas and call the cops on me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then they let me go. And then they like booked me and like charged me and then released me. And then but I slept there. And actually they woke me up and I was like, can I stay a little bit longer? Because I had fallen asleep.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I slept in all that time. And they were like, no, you have to leave now.
Damn.
I got kicked out of jail. And then...
So you were booked or were you in a holding cell?
I mean, I don't know.
That's so wild. Did you get a bedroll and everything or was it just in like a...
I was on a cot.
Okay. Yeah. So you were probably just in a holding cell. I think I was in a holding cell, but I don't remember either.
Yeah.
Because I was in a holding cell with 2 convicted murderers.
Wow, I was in Marshfield, Wisconsin. I think I was the only person in jail that night.
Oh, cool. So it was like kind of quaint.
Yeah.
So it's just like a cabin.
Yeah.
God, that's so different than what I expected. I mean, thank you for talking about that. I hope it doesn't. It's not like too big of a thing to talk about, but that's super fucking interesting.
Yeah. No, I hope it's not too big of a thing to talk about either.
No,
it's weird because I never know where people's lines are. I was like talking to a guy recently and he said he would never date someone who was on medication. And this is a dude where I'm like, you drink so much, you smoke so many cigarettes. And for you to have the audacity that you wouldn't date a woman who was like on an antidepressant.
I've had people say that too.
I'm like, you're just not dealing with your shit. You should be on antidepressants. You're fucking crazy.
Yeah. I'm coming off of antidepressants now. I'm weaning off of my pills, and I'm using CBD, and I use the kind that's 18-to-1 THC to like counteract I guess that much THC it makes it so it activates the CBD, and so it doesn't get you high. And I told somebody that, and they were like, "Oh, you're not sober now." And I was like, well, "What? That doesn't make any sense." Like if anything, like on these pills, I was like, it's just I don't trust what's in them. But I guess because I'm getting a divorce right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. The girl I was dating before, or a girl that I had dated before, said the same thing. She was like, "Why are you on antidepressants when you're with me? Like, shouldn't I be making you happy?"
Oh my God, how ignorant.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It was very black and white.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you like, was it that incident that kind of, I guess like intervened with, no? Damn. So
no, none of these horrible stories were enough.
I'm right there with you though. Like I totally understand.
It was not at its worst when I quit. I like lived with a guy, and a condition of us being together was me not drinking. 'Cause this was the guy where like, oh shit, never mind, I can't say that.
Sure.
Because I haven't told him that, because the ethical thing is for me not to tell him that. I don't think he's listening, but regardless. A condition of us dating was me not drinking. But he still drank. But I don't know if that's relevant because I don't remember what I was talking about.
Is that when you quit? Yeah.
Yeah, so I just, when we start again, you know how it goes. It's just like, I'm just going to have 1 beer.
Yeah.
And then, well, that went well. I'll just have 2 beers. Well, that went well. And then it's off to the races again. And then, before you know it, it's like 5 a.m. and I can't stop drinking. And there are people over from the bar who we don't know. 'Cause I have no control over myself, and maybe they have alcohol and I don't. I mean, I don't know, I don't remember. But I do remember him like begging me to like shut the fuck up, because he had to be up for work at 5, and I had like all these people over, and was like still getting fucked up, and it just, nothing else was as important to me as like drinking.
Yeah.
So I couldn't stop. I couldn't. And then my last drink ever was like a few sips of someone else's beer, because I just was like, I was trying so hard not to drink and I just couldn't. And then that boyfriend was like, I have a boss who doesn't drink and goes to these things. He said that he'll take you with him if you want to go. And it was the first time it ever occurred to me.
Did you ever detox?
No.
No, you just went for it?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't even know you could die from detox.
I did.
Yeah, I had no idea until maybe 5 months before I actually quit, because my parents started getting really worried.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriend at the time she was kind of the same scenario, where she was like, you need to quit or else we're done. And then she told my parents to what extent it was going. But did you ever, like, at that time, were your parents aware that you were having those episodes too? Or was your family aware?
Yeah,
and cared?
They knew about the drinking episodes.
No, like the
mania.
Yeah.
They knew about the mania. They didn't know that I think my dad knew, but my mom didn't. My sister didn't.
Yeah.
I think my dad just knew in his heart of hearts, because we can smell each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess that's ignorant of me to assume that your parents would immediately intervene with something like that.
No, I really tried not to let them know because I didn't want my mom and my sister to know that I was like my dad. Like I really didn't want to be like my dad.
So was he in a similar situation with manic depression or with alcoholism or both?
No, he was an alcoholic. He was an alcoholic, and he had undiagnosed OCD for sure, which he would never admit to. But it was like really, really severe and really awful, and he had a lot of other issues that created a lot of other issues. And now he is gone.
Were you close to him?
No,
not at all.
No.
Oh, wow, okay.
No, I was not.
So was it kind of like did you have a really emotional experience when he died? I know that it can go one of two ways. Like, because my stepdad, he had a very abusive relationship with his father, and once his dad died, and his dad really favored his older brother.
Yeah.
So once he died, he had a very emotional response to it because it was just of what never happened and what he wanted.
Yeah.
So I know it could go either like fuck him, whatever, or it's like a big,
I have a hard time talking really, really openly about this because my dad has relatives who I think follow me, and I don't want to cause
absolutely
harm to them.
Yeah.
But I definitely had conflicting feelings, and I've done and this is so LA, but it's been really helpful to me, and I know it sounds so silly, but it's been really helpful to me.
I promise you I won't sound
I've
silly.
done I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about I'm not worried about anything. I've done a lot of inner child work.
Yeah.
Accessing that because it's his birthday's today. The anniversary of his death, or things will come up sometimes where I expect to be fine, and then I'm bawling on the floor, and I'm I'm fine. He's been dead for 10 years. And what I think it is adult Lara is fine, but little Lara, the little kid Lara who still lives inside of me, misses her dad. 'Cause I remember he went to Germany. He was gone for months when I was a kid, and I remember just sobbing on our steps because I missed him. And so I know that little person is still in me, but as an adult I'm that's not how I feel. I'm not crying for him anymore,
Yeah.
But I did. Yeah, I had a physical reaction when he died. But I also feel a lot of relief, and that's what I hate to say, because it's I don't want his brothers to hear this. I know that him dying was really hard for them.
Yeah.
But they also didn't have the experience with him that I did.
Yeah.
It was fucking really hard to be his daughter.
I expected you to be very interesting. You're incredibly interesting.
Thank you.
This is an incredibly interesting podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's not close to. How long do we have before I ask you another question?
7, 8.
Cool. Yeah, I expected you to be very interesting, but this is a really good one. I've had a lot of fun doing this. I hope I haven't crossed any.
No, you haven't.
Cool.
I mean, like I said, I'm good at setting my own boundaries, you know, when I need to, and I just did.
Yeah. What's your process creatively? What drives you the most to succeed?
The joy of writing new bits and trying them and having them work.
Yeah.
And I'm working on having just a really strong hour that I'm really proud of right now. I just did an hour for the first time, and it went really well, and it was really fun, and I feel really good about it because I keep writing more jokes, and so it's it's only going to get better from there. I mean, being at the Comedy Store has really helped because so many of the same people see my set all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have me there 5 days a week sometimes, and so many people see my same set that it's I just have to have new material, because sometimes the only people in the room are like a few audience members who are regulars, who are maybe there to see me. There are regulars. And there's also like the girl in the box office, the door guy who's working. Sometimes those are the only people watching my set. And I don't want to make, the girl in the box office watch the same set 100 fucking times.
It's just the same as open mic
in a row. So what I do is I set a timer for 30 minutes and I write, and I try to do that every day. And I don't do it every day, but I do it enough that I think I write more than just about anyone I know.
Yeah. I try to do the same. It's cool to see. It's always so cool to see comics who are good comics succeeding. And so I'm always curious to know like what keeps you going.
I feel like that sounded so arrogant when I said I write more than just about anyone I know. I only say that because that's the feedback that I get from people.
Yeah. People get surprised when you tell them stuff like that. People get surprised I go to 3 to 4 mics a day, and people get surprised by that.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
I've never done that in my life.
I have to.
I've never gotten 3 or 4 set. I mean, I'm doing like 7 to 10 shows a week now, and that's so much to me.
Yeah.
It's not too much because now I don't have a day job.
And you get paid for them.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's so fucking cool. What made you want to be a comic when you were a kid? Or like when did you discover? Like,
I mean, always, like from the time I was a baby, there are like pictures of me like trying to make people laugh. And that's what I was told. Yeah, is that I was always trying to make people laugh in the grocery store, like as an infant.
I always did voices when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I can do your voice.
Do it.
You really want to hear it?
Yeah, I really do.
Mike, do you think it's good?
You've done it for him? Fuck you guys.
We did it yesterday. Yeah.
For me.
You do think it's good. That's why you laughed. You have to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck yeah. We got some hotties with some bodies in the house. I moved here from Milwaukee, and so now I think every guy is the hottest guy. You think that's what I sound like?
When you do your voice, it might be exaggerated a bit.
This is not. What do you mean it might be exaggerated a little bit? This is not what I sound like.
I did it for Chappelle, and he's like,
no way! Are you?
Yeah, he was so happy.
No way.
I guess Malik B does a good impression too.
He does?
Yeah, I guess he's good at doing voices. I've never heard him do anybody's voice.
That's funny. He does a good impression of me?
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't? He's kind of newer to the store, but he's like, I don't know if he's officially being developed yet, but I think he's like getting shows now.
I would probably know the face.
Yeah, he takes his shirt off on stage, like what's his name does. He's a very fit black dude.
Cool.
He's very pretty. He looks like Jason Derulo. Yeah.
Very, very weird alternate universe I'm living in where a very fit black dude is doing impressions of me, and I don't even know who he is. It's so crazy.
So you didn't like my impression of you?
I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it. That's one thing that's like really not a sore spot for me at all.
Yeah, I can't remember what you said. I've showed your set on David Spade's show to so many people.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I've like
thank
shared
you.
it to all my friends back home, and I was like, "This girl's on my show," and they're like, "Oh, I heard her talk about it on Joe Rogan and stuff." Yeah, so that's fucking pretty badass.
Yeah, it's like such a trip.
Yeah. What's to date your coolest show that you've done?
Oh. Gosh, I don't know. I mean, doing Lights Out.
Yeah. You had a great set. You just barely did another one too, right?
Not another set. So I've done the panel, and I've been a correspondent on it, and I'm going to be on panel again next month.
What did you like doing more, being on panel or doing a set?
Doing a set.
Yeah, that set was so good.
And yeah, so I think actually first place, my favorite thing I've done was the correspondent thing. The red carpet thing was really, really fun. Have you seen
really?
that?
No, I haven't.
I haven't posted it. I have to post it.
Do you have your videos posted of you doing like cooking stuff that you talked about? Like
they're like buried in my Instagram.
Oh damn! Okay.
They're in my Instagram.
You have them, but
you
that's
just
where you
have
found
to,
your
like,
voice.
Scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you one.
Okay.
I'll show you one.
Yeah.
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 I got to start doing it again. Honestly, I like just dated a guy and I was like, hey, what do you think of this? And I sent it over and he made me like feel really dumb. And so I like wasn't posting them. And I just realized that that's why I haven't been posting them, because I started doing them again. And then he was like, this just isn't the same level as like those other ones.
This was
and
recent?
I just want you to like look good. And this, like, the quality of this just isn't good. And I thought it was like so funny. I'm going to find that fucking video and I'm going to post it.
Yeah.
The one that I did, because it was funny.
I need to do some sort of, I do these review videos sometimes where I just like review in like a minute, and I need to fucking, when I heard you say that, I was like, I gotta get fucking doing them. And then I see somebody like Trevor Wallace who's doing a bunch of stuff and hit it really big on YouTube. I'm like, I just gotta like flex my muscle more.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are we at?
1 hour.
Okay. Well, shit, I might have to have you in again, because this was great. I hope you had a good time and it wasn't too okay. Sure, I really relate to a lot of stuff you said, and I think you're an amazing comic. What?
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
I thought
of course.
that he was moving my mic, and I was like, "Why are you moving
just pulling it away
now?"
It's one.
I'm gonna stop.
1 hour, Mike. So it's been great having you.
It was moving. You're doing something.
No.
Are you moving the desk?
I'm leaning.
Yeah. You did move it. Sorry for yelling at you.
Like 4 times.
I just was like, I'm not losing my mind. It was like going like that.
But I had a great time with you. This was
Me too.
This was great. Do you have anything you'd like to plug? I don't have tons of listeners, but I got a decent amount.
Please just follow me on Instagram. It's at Lara Beitz, LARABEITZ. I wish I hadn't said that so desperately. Please follow me on Twitter. It's the same thing.
For the love of God.
For the love of God.
Follow Lara.
For my uncle, stop listening to my podcast.
You get like 3 unfollows exactly. Yeah, well, thank you so much for coming in.
That would be great.
What, from just your uncles?
If everyone in my family would unfollow me, that would be awesome.
Me too. My mom.
I mean, like cousins and shit. I don't care.
Yeah, my mom listens to every episode of this podcast, and
Yeah.
I'm so lucky because she's got a great sense of humor. But there have been episodes where like people talk about like, I had Johnny Mitchell in, do you know him? And he talked about brutally fucking a girl's face once.
Whoa, Jesus Christ.
And my mom was like, I didn't like him.
Yeah, no
I was
shit.
like, thanks, Mom. Yeah. Because when he said it, I was like, ha, 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 ha. Oh, my God.
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, people are going to listen to this.
My mother listens. Luckily, she's going to love you.
My mom and I have like come a long way in terms of boundaries, because I've told her, like, if you don't like it, you don't get to tell me, because you don't have to listen to it. Don't watch it. I've never told you to watch my stuff.
Yeah.
You're not even invited to the party. Don't tell me you don't like the spread.
Has she seen you do stand up?
Yeah.
Does she enjoy it?
She sometimes doesn't, and sometimes she has told me that she doesn't, but I would like to acknowledge you, Janet Beitz. I know she's listening. I would like to acknowledge you. She has done such a good job of just like keeping it to herself. If she doesn't like something, and even I have like a little like bit about it where I just like talk about like she saw me on Lights Out and called me the next day and like really reached and like found positive things to say about my set, where I like talk about drinking cum. Like I say stuff that like no mother should have to hear her daughter say. And she was like, it really, once I got used to it, you really, you look beautiful. You really are very funny. Poor mom, born in 1945. And she is just like, she's doing a good job.
My mom, when I was deciding to move here, was like, you really think that this is my mom's voice? That's how she talks like that. I don't know why. That's her. But she goes, but what if you fail? And I'm like,
Cool.
I probably will. And she's so supportive, but I think she was just terrified.
Yeah.
And she's like, you really think you're funny? You think you're that funny? And I was like, well,
now I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Shit. Please go follow Lara. Sorry. I don't know why I said it.
You caught yourself,
Of
though.
course I did. I think it was in the back of my mind as don't say it.
Yeah.
And then I brought it to the forefront.
Off your mouth by
Mike, can we
saying
bleep that? Can we bleep my embarrassing
Bleep
moment? Can you please go follow? Lara, thank you for being here.
Thank you for
this
having
has been
me.
great. I wish you luck, and you're doing amazing. You're very inspiring to a comic.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Mike, thank you. Third Wheel, thank you. And everybody keep blacking out and email me.
Keep blacking out.
Yeah.
That can't be your sign off.
Keep blacking
Everybody
out.
stop blacking out. I guess that's not fun.
There's a
either.
song too. There's not a song. I just made that up. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
And love you. Bye.